Vitamin Water Zero Sugar has great taste, zero BS, and obviously zero sugar. For those with zero room in their calendar, zero patience for slow walkers, those who get 0 hours of sleep on a Saturday night, have zero filter, zero given, and zero interest in grabbing a plain, boring water. Grab a delicious Vitamin Water Zero Sugar today.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Healthcare professionals can lead their careers with LinkedIn. Discover jobs by specialty, preferred shifts, and even desired salary. From mental health therapists to radiology technicians, it's now faster and easier for healthcare professionals to find the right fit. Learn more at linkedin.com/healthcare. Side effects may include faster job placement, improved work-life balance, and increased career satisfaction.
Hey, this is William Tincup and Ryan Leary. You are listening, hopefully watching, the Practitioner Corner podcast. We've got Carina on today, and we've actually interviewed Carina before.
We did.
So this is actually at Connect in Orlando, just a mere, 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So had a fun time there, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about her journey, her path to where she is now. And so why don't we just jump right in. Carina, would you do us a favor, the audience a favor, and introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Good to see y'all again. Hello, everyone. I'm Carina Cortez, the Chief People Officer at Cornerstone On Demand. I'm currently coming to you from Dublin, California, not Dublin, Ireland, where our offices are up in the Northern California region. And I'm responsible for all things related to our people, talent, attraction, recruitment, total rewards, all the fun stuff that you typically would expect a chief people officer to be in charge of. And I've been here at Cornerstone for just a little over 2 years now. I started back in July of 2022, but excited to be here again.
So you were a COVID-ish hire?
I guess it was kind of coming out of COVID. Yeah. So I started here just about 6 months after the Take Private event that occurred for Cornerstone. So, I was hired by Himanshu Pasole, our CEO. It was a really exciting time to come in at that point. Mm-hmm.
Y'all have such a wonderful executive team.
They do.
Let me ask you a quick question before we go backwards. Ryan, we do a news show every Sunday, and we've seen such an uptick in EEOC stuff. A lot of fines, a lot of stuff coming out.
Yeah.
And
Don't put
have
her
you
on
seen
the
the
spot.
same? No. I'm just like, compliance is always important.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Hiring compliance. It's always important. I know it. I know that's important to HR. But have you seen some of the same things?
Well, we're doing really well. We're actually going through an OFCCPE audit
Oh, cool. Okay.
Fun.
Which, it's a lot of work, but we're in a good place. I think we've done really good with our record keeping and making sure that we're staying ahead of that. But it is a place you have to stay current. We're lucky to have a good legal team internally as well as partners that we work with externally just to make sure that we're staying up to date on all of that. But yeah, it's something that you have to pay attention to.
It just seems like it's ratcheted up. Like I'm talking about the fines and some of the things that you see, because we look at the EOC.gov website every week just to see what's there.
Mm-hmm.
And before, probably a couple of years ago, it wasn't that much. It just didn't seem that intense.
It seems like there's
now
more
it's
focus.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But it is.
Yeah, I don't know, but
It's fun to look at the fines. I'm not going to lie. Karina, it's like these are things that shouldn't be happening. Like stupid
This is
things.
car accidents. This is why people stop at car accidents.
This is like common sense things are getting fined for. Like you're treating people correctly.
That's fair.
Treat them like a human. But it's actually pretty fun to see these, let's say fun, interesting. I'll go interesting. The fines that these companies are paying, but they're just paying to get, in my opinion, I feel like they're paying just to get rid of the noise. They're not actually admitting that they didn't pay their employees backed wages and overtime for 4 years. They're just saying, let's get this off our plate.
And a lot of it's classification stuff.
Yeah.
So you got, that bit that I think we've been talking about for 30 years. And then Ryan's found a couple of cases where they take the tips that the employees get, and then they don't give them the tips, and so they
reinvest
stuff
it
like
in the
that,
company. I think they were buying paper products and stuff. Or it was a fast food chain.
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me.
They were using the tip money to then go and buy stuff like that.
Yeah.
So anyhow, let's go backwards in time. And let's say college. I think that's a good place to start.
Sure.
What did you want to be when you were in college?
Interestingly, so I went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, which is an amazing school.
Great school.
To join there, you have to declare a major. So I really didn't know. I was 17 when I was going to college. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I picked business administration. I thought it was pretty broad, could give me, enough opportunity to figure out what I wanted to do when I was ready. And I took my first human resource management class probably about my second or third year when I was there, and just fell in love with the practice there. So I think I'm one of the rare humans that actually knew they wanted to go into HR, and
I can confirm that.
Fall into it. So,
we don't come across many. We don't.
I can validate that study of one.
So they make you declare a major. I mean, I had literally no clue. I mean, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was graduating, let alone
Ryan, that's what they do.
That's
what they do at Tech. That's what they do at Texas A&M.
Yeah.
In fact, when you apply, you have to declare. And so Henry knew he wanted to do physics, so it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
However, you don't just apply to the school.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get into the school, so you got that stuff. But you got to apply to the department.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so, like some schools, like Cal Poly, the engineering, that stuff lights up pretty fast.
Yeah.
Those those are perfect SAT scores, all kinds of crazy stuff, and it's just they've only got so many spots.
What's the rate of change? That's what I want. Like, what's the rate of change from major to major? They're making you declare.
They make it pretty challenging for you.
Yeah.
And I think at Cal now you can only change your major once.
That's right.
But it's a pretty high bar you have to clear to even do it once.
Agreed.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to add a year. Mm-hmm. Usually in those types. There's a lot of schools. It's really more the technical schools that are doing that. Like the University of Texas, you can just apply to school, get into the school, and then just declare your major 2 or 3 years into it, and then figure all that stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to Alabama, it was that way.
Yeah.
I think the more technical schools like Cal Poly, I think they want the kids that already know what they want to be.
Right. That's what it seems like. Seems like. So, I guess I was fortunate that I picked a broad area to focus in. But what did it for me was I had my professor for my intro to HR management class. She actually came from the business side. So she actually worked in corporate America, if you will, was an HR practitioner. And so she just brought a lot of pragmatism into what she was talking about. So it wasn't a lot of theoretical or this might happen and go learn. Like, it was very much about, hey, this is what HR management is, and this is what I'm doing. And this was probably about the time, this was back in the 1990s.
Hey, we're not using dates. We're not using dates.
It's better than the 80s. So we're good.
Let's stop using dates. Let's stop using dates.
But the reason I say that, I think it is important to say that, is it was at this point of time where there was much more, or starting to become a focus on the strategic nature of human resources, which I can say looking back now, I didn't know it at that particular moment, but something struck me about most organizations, and I lived in the Bay Area, still do, we're going towards this. You have your humans, that's the people that are making, it's not an output necessarily, it's not a widget that you're looking at, but it's this knowledge that you have, these knowledge workers, and how do you manage that?
Before we move on, I need to let you know about my friend Mark Pfeffer and his show, People Tech. If you're looking for the latest on product development, marketing, funding, big deals happening in talent acquisition, HR, HCM, that's the show you need to listen to. Go to the Work Defined Network, search up People Tech, Mark Pfeffer. You can find him anywhere.
In terms of the work environment that you're in. So it was just really cool to have a professor who had that experience and brought that to bear during that course.
This was the move from personnel department to HR.
Right. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, yeah.
Did she become a mentor? or
while I was there, you know, I've
kept in
lost touch with her
Yeah.
since then. You know, I've been fortunate to have some mentors along the way, but yeah, no, I didn't keep in touch with her, unfortunately.
Well, the fact that she was a practitioner that's
Yeah.
like I went through it. I went through an HR class when I was in business school, but he was an academic. He had a PhD
Right.
in human resources, and so it was cool, theoretical, and it was cool. It kept us up to date with like the latest and greatest type stuff, but not like you said, pragmatic.
Right.
That wouldn't have been.
Yeah, and interestingly, as I moved through my career, especially when I took a turn to go into learning and development, that was one thing that I was kind of bothered by some of the L&D practitioners is many have PhDs, which is awesome, but it was how do you take that theoretical and make it work in a work environment where you're having to convince a sales leader to take the time to focus on this, you know, development program. And it's like, no, I've got to go get sales. How do you actually have that conversation? Or this is great in theory, but no one's actually ever going to implement it. And so I think that was interesting. The way that I was brought up was I was mostly on the HR generalist, people business partner, HR business partner side. And I could say, this is great in theory, but there's no way I'm going to get the leaders to buy off on this. So I could bring that practical edge to the work that I was doing.
So, Carina, I want to go back to mentorship for a moment. So you mentioned mentor. William asked about your professor being a mentor. So you've had, I'm assuming, I shouldn't assume, but you've had mentors throughout your career.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
So
for sure.
What is the difference from the time you were in school and looked at your professor there as a mentor to, I guess, throughout your career? How has your view on mentors changed? What maybe you've sought out, the intent behind it? Maybe talk to us a bit about that.
Yeah, I have a strong opinion on this that I really don't think forced mentoring works. And
100%. 100%.
So people ask me to
I can validate that.
Okay.
Yes.
When people ask me to put in place formal mentoring programs, I really try to encourage them of like, who do you admire? Like, they don't even have to be in the work environment. Who is someone that you would really like to get to know better? You're excited about where they're at in their career. Maybe someone who just inspires you, and try to make a connection that way. What I find when we've had, and I've been through a forced program before, is it just becomes a check the box activity. Quite frankly, is
Let's have coffee once a month.
Yes.
Let's do the how are you doing stuff, but you're not really learning anything.
Exactly. Yeah. And with that too is I think there's a misnomer about mentorship is like, as the mentor, I'm just pouring out all of my knowledge to you and telling you what to do. When in reality, it's a great mentor from my perspective is someone who can ask you the hard questions, make you do some introspection, maybe make you go read a book or listen to a podcast or whatever it might be, but it's to help you develop yourself further. Because generally speaking, I think people know intuitively what they need to do. Is just being asked the right questions to get myself to that confidence level of absolutely, this is what I need to do.
Building confidence and curiosity.
Absolutely. Curiosity is huge, that intellectual curiosity. And so, yeah, some of those best mentors that I've had have been bosses of mine. And I have a former boss who I'm still in touch with today. And he's still very, helpful to me in many regards, but also just people I admired. And, it's just kind of informal. They're not real formal programs, if you will.
Well, we had Kim Sneeder on she's from Allegis Group. Career Circle is the company she runs for Allegis. And her bit on mentorship was just like, you got to have an idea of what you want to learn. Mm-hmm. Like she was a doer, and she's been with Allegis for 25 years. So she was a doer for a while, and her boss said, you're fantastic. Mm-hmm. Kim, you're a great doer. You need to learn leadership. Mm-hmm. You need to know how to learn. You're going to tap out.
Yeah.
You need to learn leadership. And I'll help you. And then you need to seek out other people to then learn these things. And so she took us on this odyssey around mentorship. Became a game for her as what are the things I need to learn and who is doing those exceptionally well, and then working out a relationship with them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's an element of, how can you get connected to these people? Who do I know that knows that? And I think LinkedIn, honestly, is great for that. You can go look, hey, who do I know? Could possibly make an introduction for me.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We've had it the other way too, William, where we've had someone who's been, Karina was a CEO who's been in 30, 35 years, who was also a professor.
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling us how his students were almost in a mentor position for him, where he's been in the game so long. When he went back in to teach, the energy of the students reminded him of, this is why I got into it. And the questions that they were asking, although elementary,
reinvigorated him.
Reinvigorated him, where he actually left and started another company. Right? But like use them as a mentor, as a springboard to gain his energy back in that space.
Do you get asked to be a mentor?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I don't. That could be offensive. I don't know if to say it that way. No. First of all, I'd never do that to you. Second of all, I've never been asked to be a mentor, so I'm a little jealous. Coming from a position of weakness. No. I think people know me well enough to not go down that path. Probably. But yes, anyhow.
No, I took no offense to that, by the way.
Okay.
It's a fair question to ask. Yeah, I have. And I'm pretty selective in terms of who I choose to mentor. And I try to get to the heart of like, what is it that you're asking? Why are you asking me this? What are the things that you want to do? And I also make sure that who I'm mentoring is willing to put in some work as well, because I think there's an element of, there's practices that I like, or honestly, like books I like to read. I'm a pretty avid book reader. I like to listen to podcasts. I like to learn continuously, and I want someone who has that as part of their DNA makeup as well, because I think we all learn differently, whatever that might be. And so I want to make sure we're not just having a conversation every couple weeks, but something that you're doing in the meantime that can expand your knowledge base as well.
As we get into your career, one of the things that I'll be fascinated to learn is sometimes people take the path of generalist.
Mm-hmm.
So they start off as a generalist and then they just keep going through generalist. And then some folks then kind of divert, go into recruiting, go into comp, go into whatever, go into a place and never get back to being a generalist.
Mm-hmm.
They just keep going and stay there. And it seems like you've done both. You've been able to do the generalist, go into a path, come back to be a generalist, and go up. So I will, because it's fascinating to me. Because you can get really good at something like say comps, great benefits. You get really good at something. I can see where it would be attractive not to go back to being a generalist.
Yes. I think a lot of that, and I joke with anyone I've ever worked with that's been in compensation and benefits, it's just not a space for me.
I'm
like, keep me away from a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So
you lost me a pivot table.
Exactly,
I'm sorry.
Exactly. I have to Google how to do that every single time. But yeah, absolutely. I think that it's good from the perspective of being able to try out the different areas, as with any function, like what really draws you, what is getting you to get out of bed every day, what are you passionate about, and having the opportunity to try different things out, I think is really important. And I was able to do that pretty early in my career. And I just know too, like there's things I enjoy doing, there's things I don't. And if I can keep it on the path of the stuff I like, all the better for everyone.
Better off. Yeah. So how did you get it? How did you get into people? So generalist, how did you end up in the people business?
Yeah, after college.
So after college, a classic story of networking. So I used to, after college, I moved back in with my parents, as many people do. And my dad's coworker's wife was working at Visa, and they happened to need someone to run a very entry-level role, which they called their HR help desk. Which I was basically a receptionist and would answer kind of like a hotline.
You've been replaced by chatbots.
This is before employee self-service.
Correct.
So before they had the platforms for employee self-services, this was, hey, I forgot my login to so-and-so. What do we have at Vision Care? All of that.
I'm going out on leave. What do I do? Yeah.
Right.
Tell the boss.
For employee changes that I had to file. Yeah.
That's the deep end of the pool right there. Good for you. Oh my God.
Yes. So anyway, she referred me for the role, and I started out as a temporary employee actually, and then got hired on permanently after a couple of months. But yeah, that was how I got into HR.
And from there, Did you stay at Visa and move up in Visa,
Yeah, I
or do
stayed
some
there
things
for
different?
quite some time. I was there for 7 years. And so from that role, I moved into doing recruiting coordinator. So I had some time in recruiting. I was a new hire coordinator. So we had a lot of hiring we were doing back then. And so I was just making sure that the new employees were in their programs that they needed to be. I did some stand-up facilitation. Then I ended up going into an HR generalist role and was mainly supporting people on the technology side of the organization. Kind of worked my way up through there. And then after several years, 7 years, I ended up moving over to PayPal and became a people business partner for, I would say, the non-technical side of the organization. So it was product sales, marketing. At time, we called it the international business.
Yeah. What's your take? What's your take? Because we found through talking to a lot of practitioners, there's strong opinions on the HR business partner kind of model, both ways, right? So you've actually done it, and seen it. What do you have an opinion? Strong opinion either way?
So where I think the best value comes from a people business partner, HR business partner role is when they are able to focus on the executive and kind of the higher level order of things that need to be done, meaning that there are, like where I started my career in terms of answering those day-to-day questions. If you're having a people business partner, and depending on the size of the organization, let me just caveat that, but if you're having them having to go from, I didn't get my paycheck today, to, by the way, we need to go open a new service center in the Philippines, and how do I do that? That's tough to kind of keep flexing in between those things. So if you can have that people business partner who really understands your business and then can tell you, hey, from a people perspective, we're noticing this type of attrition, this type of talent's here. Gosh, you're in a lot of high cost locations, whatever it might be.
Right.
It's better off than if you have them kind of going back and forth between trying to field everyday questions, getting into everyday employee relations issues, etc. So I think that there's a lot of value, and to me, the conversation anymore isn't about, can I get a seat at the table as a people business partner? We're there. And so it's more of what value are you bringing to the business then with that seat that you've earned.
The Hilton sale is on. For 10 days only, you can save up to 20% on stays this fall and beyond. Don't wait. The sale ends September 29th. Book your stay and save at Hilton.com. Terms apply. Hilton, for the stay.
Tuesday on NBC, Jimmy Fallon and Bozoma St. John host the highly anticipated new competition show.
I hired 10 creatives from all walks of life. They will be battling it out to see who can impress the world's biggest brands.
This is a huge opportunity.
This is the battle for the next big idea.
This is not play. We're spending millions of dollars.
I'm so excited to embark on this adventure with all of you.
May the best idea win!
On Brand with Jimmy Fallon. Series premiere Tuesday on NBC.
Two questions that I have, and I guess you take them in any order here, because they're actually two drastically different questions, but they're in my head. I'm going to ask them.
Both cowboy related.
They are.
So you're going to be fine.
What's wrong with Dak Prescott? No, I'm kidding.
Give him a break.
Don't make me hit the play button, people, because I'll do it.
No.
I will do it. All right, two questions. One is, you've been at big companies.
Mm-hmm.
How does somebody who's moving into an HR business partner or whatever the equivalent is in their company, how do they think big but act small? And by act small, meaning how do you get personal with your individual employees and make them feel as if they're at a 30 or a 40 person company and they're being cared for?
Yeah. Well, I think that's maybe something where I believe from a people business partner's perspective, I'm not going to know every single person that's in the organization that I'm taking care of. And the reality is, yes, I want to be approachable. I want people to feel comfortable coming to me. But at the end of the day, I'm not there to be, excuse me, but I'm not here to be everyone's friend. I'm here to help drive shareholder value. I'm here to make sure that we're providing the value we need to our customers, and that we're able to deliver on the promises that we're making to our shareholders and our customers. So rather, I think that's a misconception that HR is there to be your friend. yeah, we can be nice to you just like any other one of your coworkers, but in reality, it's, am I driving the right things for the business? Am I having the right conversations? And am I able to have that strategic lens, as we were just talking about, on what do we need to do with the people in our organization in order to achieve our goals? And so that's why I think this model that we were just talking about works best too, because you may not have a dedicated person to you if you're, below that executive level, if you will. You're not going to have a dedicated person. We would have to hire way too many resources. But do I know where to go to get information, whether it's our intranet site? I know how to submit a request if I have a question, and then I'm getting a consistent result, I think is the better question for people to be asking themselves in terms of the service level they're receiving versus having a person that they need to go to from the HR function. And I think that's been an evolution we've gone through from, and why it maybe has gone from HR to people or talent is that's changed now. It's not, we're here to serve each individual individually.
And thank you for saying that, because William, you might remember something I don't, but of all the people we've had on here, Carina, not one of them has answered that question that way.
Agreed.
It's always been, you got to get personal. You got to love and handhold. No one's ever just come out and said, no, that's not what we're here for.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that, because that's
even the smallest organization I've been at has been less than 1,000. Same thing. Like there's no way for me to practically know that many people on an individual level. And largest organization was Walmart, which there's no way you ever know anyone. Everyone there.
I want to get your take, Ryan. We'll get to your second question after this real quick. I was interviewing the chief people officer at ADP, and our bit was both of our hatred of stay interviews. So we bonded over that bit because he really hates them, and I moderately hate them. Anyhow, but he went on this thing about his touch points. He goes, I have 7 direct reports. I talk to them every single week. There isn't a week that goes by that I don't have a 1-hour conversation about them, about what's going on in their world. And then that watersheds, through the organization. And so things can go bubbled up. So he's always got a finger on the pulse of what's going on throughout his organization. What's your bit on your team that you have around you?
Yeah.
And how you stay connected to what's going on in the organization?
Yeah, very similarly. I have staff meeting once a week. And so this is for us just to give updates about what's going on. And then every week I'm meeting with each of my direct reports and even some skip levels as well, depending on what's going on in the business. I might need to be digging into an area a little bit deeper. So as an example, one of our people business partners doesn't report directly to me. We've just hired a new executive. I wanted to stay closely connected to make sure the onboarding was going well. If there were obstacles, I could quickly remove those. So I'm making sure that I'm having those conversations. And interesting to the point of the stay interviews, if you're getting to a point where you have to call it a stay interview, you've missed some of those touch points along the way. But at the same time, I think it's a helpful tool for someone who may not know. And it's like, okay, let's start practicing having these conversations. But
100%.
As with so many things, I would say that the people team delivers from a programmatic perspective. It's just good hygiene. And that I think that's where, from a manager onboarding, and I'm saying manager, not leader, but manager, making sure that they know that these things are critical. So you should never be surprised when somebody's leaving. Like, you should have an idea, because either the role's not the right fit for them, or they've reached their maximum potential at the company. They don't have an upward path if that's what they're looking for. So on the other side of that, William, one of the things I've been talking to my team about is how effective are our exit interviews? What are we actually doing? The data.
I don't believe a word. First of all, it's an IQ test. If you're so stupid, you're going to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's that. Okay. And if you're really smart, you're going to say everything was fantastic, because you don't want to burn any bridges. So you don't get anything valuable, in my opinion, humble as it may be.
Felt exit interviews, or at least the ones that I've been through, have been.
Hi, this is Stacey Harris.
And this is Terry Zipper. And we're the host of the 2 podcasts under the HR Huddle.
On Spilling the Tea on HR Tech, we uncover the latest trends, truths, and challenges from Sapient Insight Group's groundbreaking research and our analyst insights, serving up everything you need to know about HR tech with no sugarcoating.
And on HR, we have a problem. We tackle the toughest workplace challenges head on, offering you expert advice and actionable solutions to help HR leaders thrive in today's fast-changing world. Whether you want the scoop on tech or tools to solve people problems, we've got you covered.
Take a listen and subscribe. If you want to become part of our community, we'd love to see you.
More about the person giving me the exit interview. If it was with the executive, was it me or was it the other people? Like, justify that it wasn't me. That's kind of what the feeling I've got.
Tell me it wasn't me.
Tell me
it's
it was
a validation
William, not
study,
me, right? Like, William, did he mess up somewhere? No, it was you.
I don't get anything out of it. It's all trash.
Yeah. I don't know. I forgot my second question already. But I tried to think of it and I couldn't, but another one came to mind.
All right.
So
that's what happens.
We've asked this question. Yeah, we've asked this. It happens with age. We've asked this question before. CPO versus CHRO. Is the title different? Title's different. Is the job different?
People ops.
Or is it synonymous? Where are you at with that?
Yeah, for me, I think language is really important. How you talk about things can make a real difference. And so that was one of the things that I was actually adamant about, was for the role when I came in here at Cornerstone was called a Chief Talent Officer. And I wanted to change that to a Chief People Officer. And my rationale around that was I'm also trying to reach people who are not in the organization. And I'm also trying to stay connected some way or shape or form with people who are alumni from the organization as well. And so for me, it's not about the talent piece only. It's broader than that. And I also think human resources has a rigidity to it that
100%.
I think it was I think it was a good shift to go from personnel to human resources. Let me just be clear about that. But then we've evolved. And so I think with anything, it's just being mindful of what are you trying to convey with the language that you're using? How do you want to talk about yourself? What does it convey? What kind of, sentiment? It's like anything when you're doing with the marketing or branding, like what are people going to think when they feel it? So I think we've evolved more into what's the experience individuals have. I think that's a big piece of the role. What's the culture, I think, is a bigger piece of the role now too. And so that's different than being a resource for humans. So for me, it is a
human capital had the same kind of connotation that people.
I hated that.
Yeah. Well, it turns out a lot of people in Silicon Valley they liked it. A lot in Wall Street the same way.
Yeah, we still talk about human capital strategy, which I think makes sense to talk about it in that regard. But in
that regard,
called that. I feel you. I'm with you.
My only difficulty with CPO is in technology companies. There's a chief product officer.
Yeah,
that's my only difficulty.
He's the other one. That's what we say. He's the other.
The other one. Yeah. Well, I've made that. I've made that mistake too. Talking to a CPO, and I'm like. We're like halfway through the conversation, Carina.
Tell me about the roadmap. Tell me about the roadmap. What are we doing next? When's the next release?
We were like,
I have no idea what the hell you're talking
about. Wrong CPO. Like, God, that was halfway through the episode. Yeah. What was I thinking?
I want to get your take on internal mobility.
Yeah.
Because when you were talking about your tenure at Visa, you people probably identified you and just said, "Oh, she's good. Let's move her into this other bit." And then again, somebody else said, "Okay, she's good," or you applied to something internally and pivoted and did something different. I've said for a long time that internal mobility is very difficult to get right, especially from a recruiter's perspective, because now I got to fill another job. That job that I didn't have before, now I got to go fill that job. But there is a lot of people that want movement in their career. No one wants to. I could probably say that like that. No one wants to feel like, okay, they just get a job and there's a ceiling. There's no growth.
Right.
So where have you seen it work?
Yeah.
Like where the company sees that you're about to tap out and you're good, so you're talented, but sees that you need a new opportunity.
The way that I try to think about this internal mobility in particular is, isn't it better to have the talent stay within your organization than to have them leave? So when I do get the pushback of, oh my gosh, this person's applied to this internal role, I need a 3-month period for them before they can let them go into their new role. And I'm like, well, in 3 months, they're going to find another job externally. And so keep that knowledge internal. We've done a lot of training. We've invested a lot in them. I think that's the perspective people have to have. We talk about it, or I talk about it as talent hoarding. If you're hoarding talent, that person's going to leave, I guarantee you, because they don't want to be stifled.
Talent hoarding to me is synonymous with bad managers.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. Or you're junior and you just don't know, you're more worried about the hole that's going to be there. And so, I think there's a maturity that comes with that as well. And, what we find in some of the studies that we've done is just having increased visibility into roles that are available in the organization actually increases people's engagement in the role. I can't remember the number off my head, but it's upwards of 60%. Like just having that visibility makes somebody want to stay, and they may not even move to the other role. So like there's this benefit of just knowing what's available. And I think
feeling that there's opportunity.
Is
enough. Yeah. How much of the how much of the management, mid-managers hoarding talent is due to a lack of trust in the organization that they can provide them with other talent?
And I don't know
the replacement
is, but
that's the replacement.
Yeah, the replacement.
Am I to be able to backfill this position or not? I don't know what the number is, but I can guarantee that. I mean, I've been there. I can guarantee it makes a factor.
100%.
Yeah.
Fine. But then I think that's when you have more of a siloed mentality versus what's the better for the company and really trying to think bigger. That's where that can come into play. And again, I'll go back to, I think training's important, and being able to have management fundamentals is a key component of, hey, like, aren't you better off with them staying than having them go? So to the question you were asking though, William, I think there's an element of understanding what's available, but then who is helping you? Are you having these regular touch bases with your employee to identify, you know what, I know that over in the marketing organization, they have this role available. I know you're doing great here, but might you want to think about it, and just being proactive and having that dialogue with someone. And you have to have some sort of relationship with your direct reports in order to assist with that. And you want them to feel comfortable coming to you also if they have an interest in another role, that they can say, you know what, nothing against you. I just really wanted to try out this new thing. I saw this new role. And hopefully you get the support of that manager as well.
So added to the complexity that, let's say, very few firms do internal mobility really well, add remote and hybrid to that. So what's the level of difficulty now? Let's just say a fully remote company. They were in the office, now they're all fully remote. How hard is it to do internal mobility in that environment?
I don't know if it's any harder. I think initially it was. If you would have asked me this 4 years ago, I'd have been like, oh my gosh, like there's no way that you could do it. But I would say now we're so used to it. Most people are able to view either on their intranet site, or if you go to a jobs board site, you see what openings are available. You can understand what's there. I think the difference is I'm not having the hallway conversation where, okay, I might see that person and it sparks something like, oh my gosh, they would be a really good fit for this position. I should have a dialogue with them. Maybe that's the difference in there. But I think the accessibility to being able to find things is still available. I think knowing who the employees are within your own team is still there. So I don't think much has changed from that perspective.
I think some of the leaders, Carina, that we talk to struggle with this exact situation, how to handle, how to connect with, and how to move people through the organization that are remote.
Listen. That's the sound of the fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron. The sound of captivating electric performance, dynamic drive, and the quiet confidence of ultra-smooth handling. The elevated interior reminds you this is more than an EV. This is electric performance, redefined. The fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm kind of, maybe, I don't know. Well, when I ask a question, you can always say no.
Okay.
Hypothetically
speaking. There you go. Hypothetically speaking, is are people overcomplicating this? Is it really just common sense, like the same as it was in the office, and there's just maybe a little difference in technology or how you communicate with people? Are we overcomplicating this whole thing?
I would say that maybe what's driving this, and this is why we've come out with the workforce agility for Cornerstone in our new categorization, if you will, is we understand, I think, as all of us actually, there's a skills shortage. And we might be concerned about how are we going to make sure that we keep the skills that we have? Are we able to ensure that our workforce is being invested in? How do I even identify that I have a skill gap? And so that's where I think a lot of what we're trying to do here at Cornerstone comes into play in terms of you can create talent profiles for your organization. We can bring in some good labor data with, our SkyHive acquisition in terms of here's what's going on externally. You have an overabundance of this skill in your organization. You don't have so much of this skill. Hey, for me as an HR practitioner, I love this. Okay, here's where I might need to go focus in some time and energy. This technology is starting, from the labor market data as well. This technology is starting to phase out. You're going to need to start phasing up on this. I mean, prompt engineering, who knew was going to be such a big thing? We have that skill set. Where do we need to have that? So I think it's just more of it's changing more rapidly than it has been in the past. And do I have a system, if I can afford a system, and granted, depending on what size of organization you are, you're going to make your decisions based upon that. But do I have a system that can somehow tell me the information that I need? And so that's why I love what we're doing. And, we're using our own products internally as well. We call ourselves Customer Zero. And so we're testing that out on our own, like create your talent profile. Let's understand what's there. By the way, here's the different moves that you can make in your career. You don't have to stay in, marketing always. You can try to venture off and do something else. Or if you want this path that goes upward, that's what you can do. So that's what I think might be more driving that, Ryan, than anything else. All
right. Last question for me. With all the things that you know right now, for just all that knowledge, all that experience, and you could go back to, let's say, your senior year of college before you're looking for your first gig, what would you advise that person? What advice would, if you could distill it?
Yes.
What would that advice be?
Not to take HR classes.
I love
no.
I love it.
Take stats. Take stats. Take finance classes. No,
I think two things, and my husband will kill me, but he knows this is true, is I got engaged my senior year of high school. I would say, don't get engaged. Go travel the world. Go figure it out.
Is it to your husband?
This is to myself.
Oh yeah.
Like go travel, go figure it out. Like go, and because that's something that I keep telling my own daughters who are 18 and 16 now, but I was telling them this when they were like 10 and 8. They're like, Mom, we're only in 5th grade. Why are you saying something? Go travel, go see the world. So that is one thing that I would definitely tell my younger self. Maybe it's not so much the don't get engaged, but go see the world, go travel. And then from a professional standpoint is take the risk. I think there were times that I was a little too conservative in my approach. And had I taken a bigger risk, I think that, things could have been different, but I'm very happy of where I ended up today. But always take that risk, push yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. So Carina, I'll end it with this. I want to reverse that question. What does young Carina tell older Carina?
That she should have tried out for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
I should have known that was coming.
I have a first cousin.
That's what I wanted to do. I really wanted to do at DCC, so never did.
I have a first cousin who was a cheerleader for 3 years.
Did you? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
That's fantastic.
Wonderful.
I love that.
But the real answer to that question, Ryan, is I'm really proud of you. I don't know that my younger self would have ever thought I would have been in this place based upon, my upbringing where I was brought up and that sort of thing. And so I think she's really proud of who I am today.
Drops mic, walks off stage. Carina, thank you so much for your wisdom.
Thanks for having me.
And it's just been wonderful. So thanks everybody else for listening, watching the show, and we'll see you later.